Welcome to the technical principles of coaching. This is topic 6, and it's this week. The topic is around the coach athlete relationship. So, the learning outcomes for this topic. By the end of this section, then, learners should be able to discuss a variety of pedagogic techniques used to deliver coaching sessions, demonstrating an understanding of the coaching process and the impact of the coach athlete relationship dynamic. Also, to address the principles of learning, examining how an understanding of these approaches can be incorporated into the coaching process, and also this links into outcome 3 and 4 of the module overall in terms of reflecting on planning a coaching session and delivering a coaching session. So, before we begin the lecture, it would be of use if all candidates could ensure that this background reading is completed. All 4 of these topics are found on the Canvas portal with links to the literature. It would be worth pausing the lecture presentation and going away and reading and digesting those, or it would continue through ensuring that you read them at a later date. So, moving on. Coach-athlete relationship. I'm sure all candidates recognise Sir Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo. A famous quote by Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of describing Alex Ferguson as being like a father in football for me, for him. There's also a YouTube link underneath which I've posted, and it's worth copying and pasting or making a note of that and watching. It's a 3-minute clip of Ronaldo talking about the importance of Sir Alex Ferguson in his own career and in his own life. There's a prominent story about Sir Alex allowing Cristiano Ronaldo to visit his father when he was gravely ill. And again, just that coach-athlete dynamic of being able to approach a manager at a key time of the season, and it's definitely worth a watch. So, coach-athlete relationships. Jowett and Cockerill suggest the nature of the coach-athlete relationship has an important role to play in the athlete's development, both as a performer and as a person. As you can see with many coach education courses on a national level delivered by organisations, and also many soccer academies across the globe are always now talking around developing the person as well as the player. And this actually comes down to coach-athlete relationships and standards amongst other things. Leading in, it is recommended that coach education programs provide information that will assist coaches to develop effective relationships with their athletes. One of the most poignant quotes or pieces of advice was from a former FA coach who said coaching is about conversations. So if we take that into this sort of realm around coach-athlete relationship, that was really poignant for me personally on my own development. So, coach-athlete relationship. Performance in sport is determined by many factors, as we know, but research identifies that the coach-athlete relationship is an important factor that affects and influences athletic performance. There's the 3C's conceptual model, which is around the coach-athlete relationship, is defined by the interdependence and influence between coaches and athletes' thoughts, feelings and behaviours, and we're going to touch on the 3C's conceptual model further on. So here we are. The 3 key constructs used to examine a coach-athlete relationship are closeness, commitment and complementarity. And these can also be determined using the coach-athlete relationship questionnaire or the CART-Q questionnaire devised and rolled out by Jowett and Untumanis in 2001. So the CART-Q was actually developed to validate a self-reporting instrument that measures the nature of the coach-athlete relationship. There have been many qualitative studies done before this point as well. and the results supported the multi-dimensional nature of the coach-athlete relationship, underlined by the variables of coaches and athletes: closeness, which is linked to emotions; commitment, which is cognitions and thought processes; and complementarity, which is behaviours. Studies have found that high scores within these areas are linked with higher levels of performance and personal treatment, higher levels of team cohesion, lower levels of role ambiguity in team sports, meaning that players now know their roles, and also higher motivation of athletes participating in team sports. Looking into the study done, I pulled out some of the descriptive stats for the CART-Q around the 3Cs and the conceptual model of commitment, closeness, and complementarity. And these are some of the questionnaire questions, if you like, which were posed to each athlete and also within each coach. Within the study, or there was a number of studies within the research, if you like. Things such as: I feel close to my athlete or coach, I feel committed to them, I feel that my sport career is promising and I like them, I trust my athlete coach, I respect them, I feel appreciation for the sacrifices they have experienced in order to improve performance, I feel at ease when I am coached or coached by them, I feel responsive to their efforts, I'm ready to do my best, and I adopt a friendly stance. So, developing a positive coach-athlete dynamic. Gould, Lauer, Collins and Chung explored coach-athlete relationships by interviewing 10 American football coaches who had all received awards for their abilities to facilitate their athletes' personal development. In these interviews, these coaches emphasised the importance of a number of key points, and these occurred frequently across the 10 football coaches. These were communication, so having open lines of communication with their athletes, possessing clear expectations and holding the players accountable, avoiding using punishment or criticisms that were directed towards their players' characters or personalities. So criticism may occur, but it's not on a personal nature, it's on a professional nature and used to develop athletes. And demonstrating that they cared, trusted and respected their players as people. So that respect factor and the human element again coming into the fore. So these communication methods paralleled the relationship maintenance strategies labelled as positivity, openness and assurance across other studies. Additionally, research examining coaches' behaviours consistently demonstrates that supportive and encouraging coaches are likely to have a positive influence on their athletes' development, and that's probably irrelevant of the level, irrelevant of the sport, irrelevant of the age of the athletes. I think human nature and humans in general want to be in a positive, supporting environment, and in that environment they will flourish. This supportive coaching was particularly effective when athletes were less confident about themselves, demonstrated by Smith and Snow in 1990. So, again, lots of research and studies around positivity, openness, treating people with respect on a coach-athlete dynamic to get the best out of your athletes. So, we have a number of activities for you all to complete on the concluding page of this lecture, but there is a short video interview with Frank Lampard. I'm sure we all know who Frank Lampard is. He's actually just moved into management, which is interesting, with Derby County, and it will be interesting to see his players' reactions to his approach based on his own experiences. But within the interview, he talks about the various coach-athlete relationships he has had. And again, the YouTube link is underneath, but there's also a link directly to the video within the Canvas portal. So please have a look at that case study with Frank Lampard. So to conclude, the coach-athlete relationship has an important role to play in athletes' development, both as a performer and as a person. So we're not just dealing with performance when we deal with people. We're looking at the whole person and the development of them. The definition of the coach-athlete relationship states that a coach's and an athlete's emotions, thoughts and behaviours are causally interconnected. So these three areas and the three C's we talked about are causally interconnected and will influence performance and development and participation, amongst other things. And again, to summarise, supportive and encouraging coaches have been shown to consistently have a positive influence on their athletes' development, and I'm sure we can all recognise that both as coaches and when we have been coached as players and as athletes. So, the reading list and some further reading for you alongside the 4 items and topic areas we'd like you to read, which are on the Canvas portal. And also there's 2 activities that we would very much like you to complete. Activity 1 is around the elements of a coach-athlete relationship. So write down on the discussion board what are the most important elements to the coach-athlete relationship. So we've covered some of those within there. There is further research. You may have your own ideas which align with the research as well around the most important elements of a coach-athlete relationship. Also within activity 2, on the same discussion or on your blog, write what was the best coach-athlete relationship you have had. And that can be from a coach perspective and your role as a coach, or from an athlete perspective and your role as an athlete dealing with a coach, and why was that coach-athlete relationship so positive. And it'd be interesting to hear everybody's thoughts around those 2 ideas. So that concludes the topic 6 lecture. I'd just like to thank everybody once again for logging in and listening. There is lots of reading around this topic area around coach-athlete relationship, and again, ultimately it can be said that coaching is about those relationships, not as a starting point, as relationships take time to develop, but it's paramount, and that the research has shown that it's paramount that a positive coach-athlete relationship can have positive results in terms of performance, development, and even winning. Thanks again for your time, and again, any questions, drop me an email, jump on the discussion board or on the blog, and that'd be fantastic. Thank you.